Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Shelly Speaks Truth right here on 2rawfortv.tv. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season. I know I enjoyed my time with family and friends over the holiday season, and this is the first show of the new year, so I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone tuning in. And if you are here for the first time, welcome. I am Shelly, and you are watching Shelly Speaks Truth right here on 2rawfortv.tv. And I would like to just welcome my co-host to the show, Dre, for those of you, again, who are tuning in for the first time.
Hey y'all. I'm not sure if they could hear me, but I'm probably in the background. Yeah, I'm in the background there somewhere. Hey y'all.
All right, so as many of you know, the new year has been getting off to a relatively crazy start. There's been all sorts of things happening with explosions at the Trump Tower. Unfortunately, there was what is being called a terrorist attack that occurred on New Year's Eve in New Orleans. And as of recently, we're witnessing a lot of these brush fires in California. So my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that is involved in that. They're saying that this has been the worst one yet. I haven't been keeping up with it too much, but I did get to look into it a little bit yesterday. And again, my thoughts and prayers just go out to everyone involved. I've never experienced anything like that before. I remember when I was living in Miami, some years ago, this had to be over 10 years ago, there were some fires, but it was nothing like what people were saying out there in California. So I hope everyone is safe and able to, we're able to evacuate out of that location as quickly as possible. Now, tonight's show, we will be discussing the controversy with Fat Joe as well as a few other things. But the reason why I wanted to talk about the situation with Fat Joe, although it's not a relatively recent story, a lot of people have had a lot of opinions about it, and I wanted to share my opinion about it because my outlook on it, I don't see very many people discussing this particular outlook. I believe I only saw one other person talk about it from this standpoint on the Black Alpha Network. And I really just wanted to kind of focus a little bit more on, that portion of what I feel is going on with Fat Joe in this particular situation. And by now, I know a lot of you may have seen the video, but I will be playing the video here in a minute for those of you who may not have seen it, because when this video hit social media, a lot of people were angry about this, and rightfully so. Because I personally feel like when Black people, especially what is now being labeled as foundational Black Americans, and I will get into that a little bit later, while that that particular label is being used for Black people who are descendants of individuals that were born in this nation, that pretty much created this nation. And for some reason, foundational Black American is offensive to a lot of people. And that's the thing that's confusing me. I really don't understand why that's confusing to people. I mean, why that is offensive to people. Because a lot of people didn't have an issue with us being called African Americans or, and all of those are basically just, those are labels. Or, a descriptive label to describe a American-born Black person. So I want to go ahead and get into the video with Fat Joe so I can come back on the other side and discuss it further. And like I said, I want to give my outlook on the situation because I think that there's a deeper meaning behind why he decided to go ahead and, flip out the way that he did.
These rumors were made by radical Black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a Black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't Black American.
Who are these guys?
These, you want me to say it name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean...
The FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And their shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, you know, your leader? Yo, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo. These rumors.
Okay, so I wanted to just go ahead and play the video so everyone could kind of get up to speed, and for those of you that haven't seen the video. And, you know, I have a couple of different perspectives on, you know, how I feel about this particular situation with Fat Joe. But the one thing that I wanted to really discuss about all of this, for one, he called it Foundational Black Authority, and he's pretending like he doesn't know that it's Foundational Black American. And in my opinion, that is to be disrespectful to the lineage, because Foundational Black American honestly shouldn't offend anyone, because it's basically just saying that you are the descendant of black people that is the foundation of America. And everyone knows that Black Americans is what gave this nation called America its footing, its foundation, its economic foundation, its infrastructure, all of that through slavery. So again, Fat Joe, you know, I don't think that he's someone that is unaware of that. But the reason why you see Fat Joe crashing out the way that he is because Fat Joe is one of the people that said Puerto Ricans created hip hop with black people 50-50. And, you know, nobody had ever heard that before. So people were wondering where he got that from. Where did he hear, why would he come out and say that Puerto Ricans helped black people create hip hop? Now, Tariq Nasheed's movie Microphone Check came out, and a lot of people were angry because in that movie, he had, you know, some of the founders of hip hop, and they were saying that they don't know where, you know, this is coming from, that hip hop was created 50-50 with Puerto Ricans and black people. They're saying that, you know, when hip hop originated, it was only black people. And the Puerto Ricans came, you know, some years later, once they actually began to hang out with black people, because...
Hold on one second. I'm hearing a lot of buzz when I talk, so let me do this real quick.
Shout outs to Instagram for your bullshit, because you obviously don't like the message. Let me show you what happens so you could see it in real life, right? Here you are, you're live. Click onto you. You can see what's going on. Let's try to share it. When you try to share, the video has ended. But how has the video ended when it shows that you're still live? Shout outs to Instagram and your bullshit right now.
Well, to be honest, we're talking about something that is highly controversial right now. And when Fat Joe decided to crash out at the end of the, last year, it was for a reason, because what people have to understand is that hip hop is a worldwide phenomenon. And, you know, black people, we're often told that I would say I wouldn't say we're told, but when we celebrate our culture and when we are proud of the things that we have done that are positive, a lot of people feel like we need to share that with everyone else. But other people in other communities, they gatekeep their culture. And it was particularly interesting in that video that he said that the Foundational Black Authority, which he knows that's not what it's called. And then let me just say this, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it appear that Foundational Black Americans is some type of organization or group, and that's not what it is. It's a lineage and a heritage. Just like if I was from Jamaica or Bahamas or some country in Africa, it's a lineage and a heritage. But like I said, it for some reason people are triggered by that because, especially as Black Americans, it seems like people are offended by us saying we're from America. And what a lot of people tend to say is you're celebrating a white man's land. And to me, that's offensive. I find that to be offensive because white people did not build this country. My ancestors built this country. So for people to make it seem like we're celebrating a white nation, that's completely dismissive of the contributions that my ancestors have made to this nation. So again, that's offensive to me. But I want to really get into why I feel like Fat Joe is crashing out in this way and what I feel like he's doing, because the video is a pretty long video. I played that particular clip because in the video he called Foundational Black Americans radical black racists. And when people like Fat Joe, who honestly is a white male, yes, he's culturally Puerto Rican, but he is a white man. So to me, what he's doing is he's kind of dog whistling to the feds to pretty much say, hey, look at these guys over here. They're a hate group. And when he begins to do things like that, that is very Cointelpro like to me. And that's why I decided to, name tonight's show is Fat Joe Cointelpro, because those are Cointelpro tactics where you're putting labels on people that's going to put them under the microscope for the feds to start looking into them. Because I don't know how many people remember some years, this was a while ago, this is before Facebook was like heavily censored the way it is today. And Black people was on Facebook. We were using Facebook as a means to communicate with each other, to celebrate our culture, to call out racism and white supremacy and things like that. And then the label came from the feds of, what was it? Black identity extremists. So that is what I feel like Fat Joe is trying to signal to the feds, like this is a hate group. And for the life of me, I don't understand why Black men in particular are allowing this guy to still be around. And maybe that's something that the people from New York can help me out with, because you hear a lot of people from New York saying, oh, you just don't understand the culture of New York. And what part of the culture of New York allows for a white man, for one, to sit around calling Black men niggas left and right? I don't know why or how you all are letting that fly. That's to begin with. And secondly, how you all are allowing him to still come around when he's calling you hateful, racist, and basically, like I said, dog whistling on his platform that you're a hate group. And we already know that when that type of talk is being put out into the forefront, it's going to put us under a radar. And my thing is, you can't call an entire lineage a hate group because, again, FBA is not a group. And that's something that people need to understand, because there's a lot of people saying, what is the purpose of FBA? And it's like, why are you all trying to make this an organization and a group when it's not? So again, I don't understand why people continue to say that when it's been explained over and over and over again that this is not an organization. This is not a group or anything like that. There is no leader. Black America is not particularly looking for any leaders right now. We are trying to, push our claim for reparations forward. And I think that may be why some people don't like that moniker of Foundational Black American, because I even heard some people say, well, I'm black, but I won't be getting reparations. And yeah, you are qualified for reparations maybe in the nation that you come from, but not in America, because you can't trace your ancestors back to slavery in America. And I just don't, again, I don't understand where the confusion is coming from with that. It's something that's very plain to understand. But I think that a part of that may be to cause discourse, because I've seen the videos of town halls where people are in there, they're discussing reparations. You have the reparations task force and things like that. And then you have people coming in causing confusion and discourse to kind of, bust up the mission, which is something else that I think that people need to look out for when they're in these task force, as we are trying to make progress on our reparations claim. Because the reality of the matter is America has paid reparations to every other group that they have harmed. Reparations have been given to the Japanese that were in internment camps in America. We all know the Native Americans are receiving reparations. Even if they're $5 Indians, they're still included in that and receiving their reparations. I believe Italians, there was some Italians that were harmed and hung some years back. They received reparations. So it's like every other group can receive reparations in this country, except for the group that experienced the most harm, expanding over hundreds of years. So again, like I said, I feel like Fat Joe's whole purpose in this is bigger than hip hop, even though, the Puerto Rican community, for the most part, the ones that say that they're involved in hip hop, they're very upset at the fact that they weren't included in that documentary about hip hop. And they're saying that, we're trying to exclude them when they're helping black people to originate it, which is just simply not true. Participating in something and originating it is two different things. And the people that were around, because what people have to understand is that hip hop is a very new art form. Hip hop is only 50 years old. So a lot of the people that were there in its origins are still alive. It's not like they're no longer here to tell their story. And that's what the movie Microphone Check did. It had the originators of the art form in the documentary explaining what was happening when hip hop was being created. And they said, yes, Puerto Ricans did participate in hip hop, but it was already something that was created. And I just don't understand why they feel like they have to crowbar themselves into something that they had no part in creating. And a lot of people are angry about that, but I feel like, the truth had to be told, because, hip hop will be in the history books. And I feel like the people that were the ones that were instrumental in creating this art form, they deserve their, their due diligence in creating what they created. And I don't feel like credit should be given to people that had no hand in creating it. And for the people that say, music is for everyone, that's true. But like I said, I just don't feel like it's right to take the credit away from the people that actually created the art form and say this is something that we had a hand in creating as well. Even because a lot of people say that Kool Herc created hip hop, which is not true. Because if you hear Kool Herc speaking, he will tell you that he got the game from Disco King Mario. And Kool Herc never said he created hip hop. People just started saying that. Yes, he was around, when hip hop was becoming more mainstream, but he never said that he created hip hop. And I think that it was very big of him to clear that up, because people started saying that, and he is promoted as if he is a creator of hip hop, but he never said he created hip hop, and he never tried to take credit for it. But I also want to say this, because, and this is no disrespect to hip hop, but hip hop, in my opinion, is the lowest form of black music. And I say that because hip hop is an art form that really didn't bring anything new to black music. There was really not that much innovation when you think about hip hop, because hip hop was created out of other art forms that already existed, like funk, R&B, jazz. Hip hop took lots of samples from those art forms. So, like I said, this is not to take anything away from hip hop. This is not to disrespect the art form. But in my opinion, I feel like it is the lowest form of black music. And another thing Fat Joe said in that video that I find to be extremely disrespectful was the fact that he said that people from the Bronx think they know about hip hop and they want to try to make it seem like it was something else. And what Fat Joe fails to understand is that he is not the culture. He's not black, and he doesn't even understand, obviously, how hip hop derived, because he's saying, folks are saying it was hip, it was beboppity big bop or whatever he said, and he's trying to be funny, but the reality of the matter is hip hop does derive from other musical forms like bebop, funk, jazz, blues, all those other art forms that came before hip hop, that hip hop took different sounds from in order to create that particular art form.
Let's open up the phones and see what the people got to say. and at the same time, let's shut down social media, right? Because we know Instagram was already with the foolishness, and they can barely hear me, so you can go ahead and let them know what we're doing. But you know, the Instagram been with they foolishness. Shout outs to everybody that's been tuning in on Facebook, but it's time to come on over.
All right, so if you are watching us on any of the other platforms, you're not watching us on Instagram anymore, obviously. But if you're on any other of the other platforms, you will have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv. That is the number 2, raw, the number 4, tv.tv, and we will see you over there to continue the conversation. All right, so I hope everybody has joined us over here on 2rawfortv.tv exclusively. We have shut down the other platforms, and we're going to open the phone lines for a little bit on this particular topic, and I want to know what the people think. If you want to call in right now, I believe the number will be appearing on the screen here shortly. But as I was saying, I find it to be completely disrespectful when people like Fat Joe, who are not of our heritage, culture, or lineage, tries to tell us what art forms are that was created by our culture. So he was saying that people from the Bronx don't know how hip hop was created. And I think that if you guys really want to break down on this, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some type of music scholar or music historian or a musician for that matter. But if you all really want to break down on this, I suggest that you all go over to Dewan B's channel on YouTube. He is a musician and a music historian, and he goes into great detail about how hip hop was created, what art forms went into, what other musical genres and art forms were put into creating hip hop. And you know, he does a really good job of breaking all that down if anybody is interested in actually knowing about the origins of hip hop and other art forms that do come out of Black America. So for Fat Joe, someone, like I said, who is not even of the culture, who's not even a black man, because, you know, you had other people like Busta Rhymes who said some crazy stuff as well, like Black Americans don't have any culture and things like that. And a lot of people, you know, hopped on him about that, and rightfully so. But, you know, Fat Joe is not even black. If we want to debate this, you know, with other black people, I'm okay with that, because everybody feels like they had some stake in it. And if we want to debate this among ourselves as black people, then okay. But when you have somebody like a Fat Joe, like I said, who is a white man, I just don't feel like he has a place to even be commenting on our culture, and then having the audacity to turn around and call us racist at that because we don't want to include people in the origins of something that we created